13 starts for Arsenal. Erling Haaland, he has 31 goals in 26 appearances this campaign since coming to English football. A tale of two in-form strikers and friends reunited. Lee Dixon grew up a City Blue, but won titles and FA Cups galore with Arsenal. How did the changes that Arsenal have made affect their chances tonight?
Well, Sam, we've heard the word said time and time again from Arteta about the process. If ever there was a time for this starting 11 to trust in the process. 6 changes from the last game. A couple of first-teamers here and there, some potential. A new signing, and they've got to believe, against a very, very strong Man City team.
Early foul from Kevin De Bruyne. And Saka going on an early scamper down that right touchline. What form he is in right now. He's started the last 43 Premier League matches, but Mikel Arteta has decided not to rest him. I think you could tell with the interviews pre-match that there is tension in the air tonight. Holding, wrestling with Haaland. And Haaland trying to get round the outside of him. And the foul's gone the other way. And the City players surrounding referee Paul Tierney not happy about that decision. That's gone against their star striker.
Well, he's won the free kick, Holding, but he's got to not do that. Yes, you've got to hold your own, but it's one of his problems. He gets a little bit tight at times, and Haaland will love that. He'll love that sort of fight. You've sometimes just got to back off him, let him get it to feet, and then go tight.
Rob Holding raised 7 miles from the Etihad Stadium. He's already twice an FA Cup winner with Arsenal. He started both the 2017 and 2020 finals.
Saw Rob Holding get sent off towards the end of last season at Tottenham when he constantly got tight, got a booking, and then didn't really use his brain in just working out the next move, and he just got sucked into a challenge and he was off.
Hasn't been playing too much this season because of the partnership that has developed at the back between Saliba and Gabriel.
Well, it's hard, Sam, you know, you get in the side and you just want to impress. He's got his work cut out tonight, that's for sure.
This is Matt Turner, the USA goalkeeper, playing for Arsenal tonight, all very tight in front of the Arsenal penalty area. Tomiyasu. A little wobble with the footwork there from Turner, and Gundogan has got it back. This is Kevin De Bruyne. Haaland, now De Bruyne. Haaland again, comes back to Rodri. And Arsenal tying themselves in knots and handing City the first real opportunity of the game.
Yeah, his hand goes up, a little sorry to his back four, but Arteta, round of applause. He won't stop him doing that. Get his confidence. It was a poor ball, creating a chance for City. Rodri just leaning back. It's interesting with, sorry Sam, interesting with Xhaka and Partey, perhaps the 2 players you couldn't do without if they got injured, but almost got to play him because changing the back line, they need some protection. Got that huge amount of experience in front of them.
They do have Albert Sambi Lokonga on the bench tonight, and we've seen Zinchenko play in that position, but El Neni is out seemingly for a few months, maybe till the end of the season, so they don't have much wiggle room in that midfield area. They are linked with a couple of new signings. Maybe Mikel Arteta will get 1 or 2 over the line between now and the deadline early next week. There are a lot of similarities between these two sides, but differences too. Manchester City prize possession, often slow, patient build-up before quick, incisive passing around the box. Arsenal similar. They like the ball, but at their best they can smother you with intensity in your half, a bit like Liverpool did a few years back. Here's one of their new signings, Leandro Trossard, making his first start tonight. Stones trying to stop him from going through his tricks. Trossard has managed to work it through to Tomiyasu. He never scored for Arsenal, but he might not ever come close, so that's a big save from Ortega. De Bruyne away. Gabriel, flicked by Trossard. Tierney trying to charge past Rodri. And Trossard already showing his value. It's another decent cross, and Saka was sizing up a volley at the far post. Okay, read it. It's still not clear. Vieira's made an intelligent run, away by Akanji. Easy enough for City to read on that occasion, but what a chance for Tomiyasu.
Yeah, Trossard, the centre of two moves from Arsenal then. Just look at Rico Lewis's position, he goes really central, and that just exposed John Stones against Trossard early in the game, and he had a little run at him. It's a really good ball, pull back, edge of the box, and Tomiyasu, as you said, good strike. It's a save the keeper should make, but it looked good. I'm just about to see it now. Plenty of time. Eye on the ball, he gets it away. As you said, looks good for the photographers, but a really good move on this left-hand side.
Saved by goalkeeper Stefan Ortega, who's one of the two changes that Manchester City have made tonight. And his FA Cup debut in the last round. It's his 7th appearance of the season.
Interesting, the lad's talking about Rico Lewis playing at right back. Good luck if you see him at right back, because he very rarely ends up there. Already defensively, Trossard has gone down the left and met Mahrez on one occasion, Stones on the other, and Lewis just got the licence to basically go and play right-hand side of midfield. He can't take a throw-in either.
He's a pretty special young player, to be honest. I saw him against Chelsea in the Premier League when he came off the bench, changed that game. He's what you call press resistant, I think, now. He is so good on the ball, he can manage it in tight areas. He's only 18 years of age, but he is a terrific young player.
It'd be good to see him defensively, actually, against a winger. Stuck out on this right-hand side if Trossard just dragged him out a bit, but there he goes. City get possession, and off he wanders into midfield. And just leaves Mahrez high up the pitch on the right-hand side, and John Stones has got the ball inside and not a lot outside him.
Moving the full-back into midfield is something that both these two teams do. Arsenal do it with Oleg Zinchenko when he plays at left-back, not so much with Tierney. And Xhaka has just misread the run of Nketiah, who is bending through the middle, but the ball went the other side, and Manchester City have it back again. Pep Guardiola with the ball in his hands. He waved away suggestions that Mikel Arteta had simply taken his ideas and employed them at Arsenal this week. Rubbish, he said. Ideas belong to everyone. I've stolen as many as I could. He was in chattier mood than he was when he was talking to Gabriel a little bit earlier, when he was discussing that. Oh, that's a mistake by Holding, and Haaland will be free here. Turner's come off his line brilliantly. Haaland's gone for the acrobatic, and Tomiyasu was watching it all the way.
Well, Holding's asking the referee about a foul. He obviously didn't get one. Turner does well to come off. He just tries to play him offside, and then he just bounces off him. Haaland just pulls the back of his shirt, whether he's enough there to pull him back. Brilliant positioning from Turner.
That was terrific goalkeeping from the USA international, who's only making his 6th appearance of the season. And Lewis dispossessing Trossard on that occasion. It's a poor ball out. Partey. Now Xhaka. Here is Bukayo Saka. He's been in terrific form over the last few months. 6 goals in his last 11 appearances for club and country. I read a piece from Martin Keown this morning, who said he would walk into the invincible side
I think I heard him say he was going to drop Freddie. Wouldn't have gone down very well.
We'll let Martin tell him. And he's thriving right now, isn't he?
It just shows what Arteta thinks. He's almost undroppable. He keeps going, he keeps running, gets knocked, he gets kicked, plays that type of football when he runs with the ball, so he gets a lot of contact from defenders, but touch wood, he very rarely goes down. He doesn't stay down very often, and he plays as often as Arteta will pick him.
You might have seen Mikel Arteta getting very close to Rico Lewis. I think he'll be watching his behaviour on the touchline today. He did get himself in a spot of bother over the last couple of games. He's not the only one who strays outside his technical area, but it's often been highlighted with him. I think more because of the manner in which he does it. He gets very excited on the touchline, as does his former boss. Turner looking for Trossard. Stones positioned himself well.
It's really fascinating on this City's right-hand side with where Stones and Lewis is playing, and Tierney and Trossard plus playing a game trying to outwit them, because they can create a 2v1. But also they've got a 1v1 with Trossard against Stones, and he just got a slide tackle in just about a minute ago. And I think after the rest of this game, John Stones might have a word with him at half-time and say, just help me out a little bit now and again, and Pep will just put a stop to that conversation.
Gundogan was allowed to wander a long way. Jack Grealish. And was just a little bit too high for Haaland, and Mahrez at the back post was coming in underneath it, but Turner read it well. It's unusual that we've had to wait until the end of January for the first meeting of the two best teams in the country. The sad passing of the Queen meant that the original league game between the two was delayed until later this month. But it was always going to be a bit of a chess match between two coaches that know each other so very well. Both of them have this process of dividing the pitch into horizontal and vertical zones and only allowing a certain number of players in each zone at a time, trying to stretch the width and the depth of the playing surface to try and overload their opponents. But each of them will know each other's tricks.
We used to have zones. Don't go in the penalty area at that end, and don't go in the penalty area at the other end. That was my two zones. Stay in the middle somewhere.
Fabio Vieira was one of the stars of the game down at Oxford in the previous round. Came up with two brilliant assists in that game. It's Granit Xhaka who's going to take charge of this set piece for Arsenal. And towards holding, away by Rodri. It's come down for Saka, who hit it first time, but it was blocked. Incredibly congested on the edge of that Manchester City box. Saka into Vieira. Arsenal looking to build a little bit higher up the pitch, but the return ball to Saka was a little bit heavy from Vieira.
Yeah, he's not really got in the game just yet. Great ball from Turner, though. Ping ball just over the halfway line to the feet of Saka.
Hasn't quite happened yet for Arsenal or Manchester City, but Arsenal often start games at a fast pace. They've been ahead by half-time in 7 of their last 10 Premier League away matches this season. No team have scored more goals in the opening 30 minutes of matches than Arsenal. And they may well have noticed the sluggish starts that City have made recently in the derby away at Saints, and here last Thursday when they went in at half-time 2-0 down to Spurs, which wasn't particularly well taken by Pep Guardiola. I spoke to him afterwards, and he was well, he was in spiky mood again. I think he's got this thing at the moment that he wants to see what he's been calling his team, the way his team have played over the course of the last couple of years, and he feels as if there's been just a slight slackening off.
Yeah, you're bound to get that. The levels this team has reached, you're going to get a little drop-off here and there, and that's his job. Pick them back up again and make them aware of their responsibilities as top players at a club that normally wins things every year.
And we're a smattering of boos at half-time as well, which, again, didn't go down too well with Pep Guardiola. This is John Stones.
Someone that was booing should have supported City when I did.
That was a very long time ago. Here's Rico Lewis. It's a slightly different landscape at Manchester City now. It's a club that has been winning and winning well for a very long time. Champions in 4, hoping to be champions for 4 of the last 5 seasons. Looking to win it 3 times in a row, which doesn't happen very often. Stones again.
Stones just missed an opportunity then, just to ping a diagonal. Alan made a really good run on the back of Holding, but he didn't have his head up. He's playing a wrestling game at the moment, just gotten out a shot. Holding and Haaland put their hands around each other's necks, playing a wrestling game.
Tapping the ankles for Jack Grealish, who isn't looking very comfortable after that. It's going to be a free kick to Manchester City. Grealish has been in good form for Manchester City in the last few weeks. He scored in the Manchester derby. He was terrific in that second half against Tottenham. Longer ball from Ortega, looking to try and release Haaland. Grealish trying to shut down Tomiyasu. Partey is found Holding. Immediately looks for Vieira, but Akanji's going to see that back to his goalkeeper. It's very cagey. These two teams just trying to feel their way into the game, find each other's weaknesses. Arsenal with a 5-point lead over City at the top of the table, but having a game in hand. Haaland backing into Holding, trying to release Gundogan, but Partey was there to cover. He's been incredibly important this season, Thomas Partey.
Yeah, him and Tomiyasu on the cover then.
Kanji looking for Mahrez, away by Tierney. It's out for a throw. Mahrez. City looking for a bit of his trickery now. Rico Lewis. Akanji, Gundogan. Looking to try and release Haaland, but this time Gabriel was standing in his way.
Yeah, they're just cancelling each other out at the moment. Very similar systems. Down the width, it's pretty much wingers against fullbacks. I know Lewis is going inside, but they're cancelling each other out. 2v2 down the sides. It's just the flair players getting Vieira on the ball, getting De Bruyne on the ball.
Vieira on the ball now. On to Trossard. Lewis backing off. Trossard, good save. And Trossard so close to getting his first Arsenal goal. Tierney. Partey. Granit Xhaka with 3 to aim at in the centre. Arsenal with the 2 best chances of the game so far. Anthony robbing Bukayo Saka. He's another one who's had a very good season, playing more football than maybe he would expect to. Haaland's in a race with Matt Turner, and Turner's starting position again accomplished.
Yeah, brilliant starting position, but just stays wide, and he just goes down the outside of Lewis. It gives him a little bit of space, gets it on his left foot, and that's a better save. Needed a strong left hand then.
Well, City have won this trophy just twice since 1969. Arsenal 4 times winners in the last 9 years. And you heard Mark talking about it earlier on. Older Arsenal fans will remember that 2007-8 season when they were vying with Manchester United for the title. They lost in the 5th round at Old Trafford 4-0. And then failed to win 10 of the next 12. That's why they want to keep the momentum up today. There's a wonderful touch from Haaland before that move broke down.
Yeah, it was a good touch, but again, Partey almost playing in between the 2 centre-backs then, just stepping out, making the tackle on Grealish. Does that brilliantly well when he just drops into the space. Helps out his centre-backs, but also knows that he can step into that space he's just come from in front of him.
Holding are involved in a real personal duel tonight. A bit of pushing and shoving and shirt tugging going on.
Should have a camera just on those 2. There's all sorts going on.
And Matt Turner is again having to be adept with his feet. Not for the first time. And you get the feeling that that's an area where, when it doesn't quite click, the Arsenal fans behind the goal are getting a little bit nervous.
Turner's just having a look at him now. They must have said something to him, the fans. He's having a laugh and a joke with them. But you do feel that if one was to mess up and it went in, you kind of go, I told you so. But he wants to keep playing. His manager's telling him to keep rolling it out from the back.
Tierney. Gabriel. Holding, looking for Saka. Not going to find him over there. Side flag is up. Holding by name, holding by nature. He's trying to keep tabs on Erling Haaland tonight in any way he can. Not an easy thing to do. And the man that got a hat-trick against Wolves on Sunday, his 4th of the season. Not many people have been able to stop him. You have to do what you can. Roderick looking for Mahrez. Mahrez trying to get a shot away. It's blocked by Xhaka. Rico Lewis. Now De Bruyne. Still going, Kevin De Bruyne. Oh, it looked like it was arcing in the far corner. And Matt Turner wasn't sure at all.
No, certainly had the goalkeeper interested, but it also that man interested because he thought this wasn't far off. Going to get it onto his left foot as best he can, and then he just uses Xhaka as the shield. Just watch him bend it round it. Go a bit closer, Xhaka. You're not quite close enough. And that isn't far off at all. You see the shadow on the post of the ball.
Now, Kevin De Bruyne loves playing against Arsenal. He's managed to conjure up 3 goals in his last 5 against them. He loves playing in the FA Cup, 6 goals in his last 14 FA Cup ties. And although he hasn't been on great goal-scoring form this season, he has already come up with 16 assists in all competitions and 11 in the Premier League alone. He's very much a key player, as usual, in that City setup. Such a threat. Trossard. Tierney. Trossard again. Trying to get away from Rico Lewis. Xhaka. Partey. Tierney. Tierney trying to just reverse the ball down to Trossard, which seemingly looked like a good idea, but didn't quite come off.
Yeah, just overhit it with the right foot. But Trossard looks the one. He looks like the one who can cause trouble down this left-hand side. Saka's been tied up by Ake on the other side, so Vieira's just starting to pick a couple of balls up in that number 10 area. Arteta will be pleased about that, but Trossard's the one who's got a bit of a run on this left side.
Well, it is Trossard's first start after his £21 million move from Brighton. He'll add a bit of competition for places. They need that, Arsenal, especially at the top end of the pitch. And Pep Guardiola will know what to expect from him. He's scored twice for his former club, Brighton, against Manchester City. He's had a very good chance
Holding's
here.
the one at the other end who's got to keep fully concentrated, because Haaland will fight you all day long. And you've only got to lose one of those fights against him, and chances are he'll be through on goal, and we know how good he is at finishing. So, as a centre-back, his only job, really, is to stop Haaland. He's got a big night ahead of him, Rob Holding.
Xhaka. Bukayo Saka looking menacing once again. Okay, trying to deal with him. Saka trying to get away and accelerate, but loses his footing.
It's good play. Strong, stayed on his feet, just stuck his foot in at the right time. Timing is everything as a fullback.
Well, one of the things that has helped Arsenal, especially at home, is the support that they are getting. A new vibe from the Ashburton Army, a new anthem pre-match, and they're well back today. They took up their 7,802 tickets very quickly, and it's contributed to an attendance of 51,694 tonight on a cool Manchester evening.
I think I met every single one of them in the service station on the way up.
Looks like Erling Haaland needs a service after a head collision with Holding.
There's going to be a few of these, and it's just his elbow just leans into him, probably trying to get to the top of his back, but he knew where it was going to end up. I'm surprised the ref hasn't seen that a little bit more harshly.
We do have VAR tonight. John Brooks is sitting in Stockley Park, but he hasn't seen anything wrong with that as of yet. Haaland does look as if he needs a little bit of attention. It was some whack from behind from Rob Holding.
You do use that arm to protect yourself, because the striker's backing into you. But there is a crossover point where it's not protection and it's more forceful.
A couple of coaching sessions going on the touchline. They never miss an opportunity to get their ideas across. Pep Guardiola and Mikel Arteta. Goalkeepers have come in from either end as well to get involved. It's like unofficial timeout while Haaland gets his treatment.
That's incredible.
Well, he has clear ideas of what he wants his team to achieve. And he's hoping that his vision clears. We do have the concussion protocol, so we'll go through all of the relevant checks. And there is an extra substitute available to Manchester City should they decide to switch out Haaland because of concussion. Haaland going off the field to just finish his checks, but it looks like he's going to come back on. There'll be an uncontested drop ball as a result of the stoppage. Things have definitely changed between Manchester City and Arsenal over the last few years. You may remember when Arsenal won the FA Cup in 2020. They beat Manchester City in the semi-final. They pulled off a proper smash and grab raid that day. Do you remember it?
Vaguely.
They had 29% possession that day. And nicked a victory. They defended deep. They were very pragmatic, but they've certainly evolved. Maybe that is what happens when you trust the process.
Well, I think Arteta will be pleased so far. They've been organised. They've had a little bit of a get-out ball down this left-hand side. City haven't created an awful lot. And thankfully for Arsenal, De Bruyne and Gundogan haven't been in the game that much.
Xhaka drawing the foul from a combination of Stones and Lewis. And then wanting to get things moving quickly, Trossard. There's no hesitancy when the ball is out of play. Very quickly, Arsenal keen to restart. This is Nketiah. Xhaka didn't realise that Gundogan was behind him.
And he's got to know somebody's behind him. He's not going to be on his own there. It's a good little run into that inside left position. Nketiah doing well, holding the ball up.
Trossard. Here he goes again, powering down that left-hand side. Nketiah. Well, they've seen that type of finish before.
Great run from Trossard and Nketiah. That touch there just sets him up, gets him away from Mahrez. Lewis out of position. We've talked about his position at right back. And Nketiah just trying to get in front of the centre-back near post. Gets a little bit less on that. He's got a chance, he gets too much on it, but good chance for Arsenal.
They've had the best chances in the game so far. Tomiyasu, Trossard and Nketiah. And they are the team that made 6 changes to their starting lineup. Manchester City seemingly, when you look at the teams on paper, coming in stronger. And so far Arsenal have looked the livelier, but Manchester City did take a little while to warm up in their most recent big game against Tottenham Hotspur last Thursday night, just over a week ago. They were a little bit better in the first half against Wolves on Sunday, but they were a little bit slow out of the blocks against Antonio Conte's team. They were certainly not slow out of the box in the second half, though, as they scored 5 goals to ensure that Spurs were dispatched.
There was a few teacups when half-time. Pep didn't like his team.
I think he was a bit chattier in that half-time team talk as well.
That's for sure.
Haaland with just an off-touch, shake of the head. Manchester City usually quite like playing Arsenal. Last year the Gunners got close to them down at the Emirates, but not here.
Just look at that position. You see the difference between Ake and Akanji, the gap. The area is just having a little wander into it. It's because Stones ends up playing right back and Akanji comes all the way over to right centre-back when he's left centre-back. And that just creates a huge amount of space for a midfield player just to run through if they were to win the ball, Arsenal.
It's a proper chasm, that. Conversely, though, what the wandering into midfield does allow them to do is to have an extra number in the middle of the park, the congested area where most of the play occurs. This is Grealish getting away from Tomiyasu, trying to set up Haaland, and Holding steps in just in time.
Well, that's the beauty about this game. It's all about opinions, all about tactics, positioning. It's always 11v11, obviously, unless someone gets sent off. But you overload one side, there'll be a gap somewhere. It's just about exploiting that when you see it in the moment.
De Bruyne. He probably has had Manchester City's best chance in this game with that arcing shot from the edge of the box. A lovely little bit of skill which he tried to get away from Partey with. The referee didn't give a foul for that, but then did give a subsequent foul against Jack Grealish, which hasn't gone down too well.
Yeah, well, from here they look very similar, but obviously Partey is a lot closer. Was that a foul? No. I don't see that one, but a little push. I think they should just let play on.
It's remarkable that the top two scorers in the Premier League haven't found a way through yet. 36 minutes in, but we've a long way to go. Manchester City do have goals coming out of their ears. 53 this season is the most in the Premier League. 8 more than second in that table, Arsenal. They have had any issues over the course of the campaign, really. It has been in defence, where they've conceded more than usual. They have had to chop and change that defensive back line because of injury. This is Tomiyasu looking to test it. Tierney. Trossard not too far away from him. Tierney with an attempt at a quick, vicious cross, which didn't quite come off the way he intended.
Well, it wasn't a particularly good cross-field ball, which just shows, again, just mentioning Lewis's position. Ball flighted like that shouldn't be able to go to Tierney unchallenged. He's got to get his spacings right. Sounds like I'm having a go at the lad and just observing his position and how sometimes, because he plays so narrow, sometimes he just gets caught out of it defensively.
Rodri going straight through the middle, direct up to Haaland. City try and play off that, didn't quite work out. Although it might come through to Haaland, who's beaten the defender. And it's over the top of the crossbar. And Gabriel was backpedaling and didn't deal with Erling Haaland.
I'll tell you what, Gabriel in the end does okay, because it's a bit of a ricochet. The ball just gets flicked over from Tierney. And he slows down at the last minute, but the challenge just puts Haaland off, and he'll be looking at that thinking probably should do a little bit better, but the challenge from Gabriel probably did it.
You just get the feeling that Erling Haaland is warming up for something. And that usually spells danger for any opposition. He has scored in 17 of his 24 starts this season. A monster striker with a monster goal record. Stones lucky to get away with that. De Bruyne, Lewis, Mahrez, inviting pressure from Nketiah, and Ortega's got himself in a tangle. Xhaka finds Trossard. City a little bit unbalanced. Rodri coming back to try and help out his ailing defence. De Bruyne. Now Grealish. De Bruyne's made a good run out to that left-hand side. Grealish has kept control of it really well, and it's found its way to Haaland. Grealish has continued his run, De Bruyne his. Haaland peels off towards the far post. This looks menacing from Manchester City. Turned defence into attack quite quickly. Grealish. And that was just a little bit too heavy for Erling Haaland.
Oh, good running from Haaland, and immediately, as soon as he lays it off, he just arcs his run to this far post, eventually goes out to the left, and then just watch him, he ends up far post, lingering for a decent ball in, and in the end Grealish just overhits it.
Well, only halfway through the season, Manchester City have already lost 5 games this campaign in all competitions. 2 of those defeats have come in the 9 games since the resumption after the World Cup. Southampton and Manchester United both away. They only lost 8 in the entirety of all of last season, and that's if you include the Community Shield.
Well, it was a game, wasn't it? So you've got to include it.
But I read this morning that the 2 goals that Jimmy Greaves scored in the Community Shield aren't included in his total for Spurs.
There you go.
Ortega. To Haaland. Haaland. Yeah, eventually, the referee had to do something about it because they were just getting far too well acquainted.
Yeah, he was coming. He had no protection then to the ball to feet. Partey was a little bit out of position. He just drops it into his feet there. Now he can just lay it off and then go, and he's not allowed to go because he's got hold of his shirt. And it's a yellow card that is a very dangerous one because Rob Holding's got another 50 minutes or so to play against the league's best striker.
And you just wonder whether or not Mikel Arteta may look at that at half-time, because the last thing he'll want to do in this game is go down to 10 men, and that's always going to be hanging over Rob Holding whilst he's on the pitch against such a cracking talent. Xhaka forward to Vieira. Well, the referee has blown his whistle and the flag's gone up far side. Saka is saying that he didn't get involved in the play as the ball came over. And the assistant is Konstantin Hatzidakis on that far touchline. And I wonder if Arsenal are right to feel a little aggrieved.
Well, Saka saying he wasn't getting involved. Saka, sorry. He's got a point. We've seen one of them recently, haven't we?
He was less involved
Just
than Marcus Rashford, I would ascertain. And the this incident that you're referring to came in the Manchester derby, and still a bit of a sore point around here.
Well, Rob Holding's got to change his game, and he already has, because on that challenge he would have probably put an arm in, put a leg into that challenge, and he just allowed Haaland just to play the ball off, try and control it. It's going to be a long night for him, because he's getting very, very close every time, and it takes one little roll round the corner and the ref will have his other card out.
Two central defenders on the bench are William Saliba and Jakob Kivior, who Arsenal have just signed from Spezia. This is Nketiah trying to get away from Akanji. It's a good tackle by him. He's done very well since coming in from Borussia Dortmund in the summer, Manuel Akanji. And that's a lovely, delicate pass out to Mahrez. It's just skipped off the turf before he could get it under control.
And do you know what? That would have been the first time that Mahrez had the ball in grass at his feet, running at the Arsenal defence. He's had a couple of little slow runs, but just skidded off the turf as well.
Trossard. trying to get away from Stones. Did just enough. Rico Lewis gets it further clear. Arsenal just keeping them penned in. Although Stones has pulled up once again. He's been troubled by injury over the course of this campaign, and it has restricted his appearances. Will be 2 minutes of added time.
Don't like the look of that one. Yeah, that just looks like a hamstring, which you can see it in his face. They know, the players know.
Yeah, that looks like a right hamstring problem for John Stones, and that will be a real issue for him. A player who missed the game at Old Trafford and Southampton because of fitness issues. It's been something that has occasionally stopped him from getting a run in the team. And there's Ruben Dias warming up, coming back to fitness at a very good time. A player whose authority has been missed at the back whenever he's not in the team. And there's Aymeric Laporte, another option for Manchester City, who started the last FA Cup final win in 2019. He too has had his injury problems, and he is going to be the man who comes on in place of John Stones, and they're going to do that before half-time.
Struggling for a squad, Pep, isn't he? Those two warming up. You just see him stumbled a little bit there, and there it is. You can just feel it, and then he's reached back for the ball. Damage is done, and then he does a bit more damage. It's such a horrible feeling, that is.
And the England centre-half replaced by the Spain centre-half at the World Cup. The Portuguese centre-half still waiting on the bench. That's a sad sight for John Stones. And Laporte's still not ready, actually, and he's only just put his jersey on. He's got his tracksuit on, got to sort out his boots. How quickly can you get them down? Well, the referee is allowing the game to stop despite the fact that Laporte is not ready. We are already well over our 2 minutes of injury time. He has restarted things now.
He hasn't got his shin pads on either.
He's not exactly prepared and ready to come on. And at the moment, City are down to 10 men. It just means that Rodri's going to slip into the back four in the intervening period.
I don't understand by not being ready. Why wouldn't you be ready at any moment? I just don't get that. He's doing his laces up, he's putting his shin pads on.
Here he comes.
Hope it's worth the wait.
And a little shift around at the back. It means Akanji will go from left centre-half to right centre-half, and Laporte will move into his more natural position. We only have a couple of seconds before the half-time whistle blows. Has been a half in which Arsenal have probably had the better chances. Manchester City had one really good one from Kevin De Bruyne, but apart from that, it's Arsenal who have created the most. The running battle between Haaland and Holding has been a bit of a theme. But despite the 6 changes, Arsenal have looked the more threatening.
Yeah, I think Arteta will be the more pleased of the two managers. You might hear a few of the City fans half-time not too happy.
He doesn't look too happy. There is the half-time whistle. There is a 5-point gap between them in the Premier League, but they are very well matched in terms of style and effort levels. Nothing to separate the country's top two at the break. The running battle between those two has certainly been a theme that has run throughout that first 45. Whatever you do, don't go anywhere, because Roy Keane and Ian Wright will pick the bones out of that first half next. At half-time, it is Manchester City 0, Arsenal 0.
Both in Europe as well, and Arsenal's squad is not as deep as Manchester City's, as we discussed.
No,
so do you have to gamble at some stage, I suppose I'm saying?
Well, I think you still want to try and win the game, but like at the same, if it goes to a replay, you take the replay. I think that I'm very impressed with what Arsenal are doing at the moment, and it goes to show the amount of work that's going in on the training ground, because the 5, 6 guys have come in, and it looks like everything's the same. Of course, we could talk about City, and they're not quite functioning up front as well as you'd think. It's not as fluid. I think Arsenal are playing very, very well against them.
Yeah, don't be. You know, when people say they don't want a replay, listen, if you have to get through on a replay, so be it. You know, this.
That's the Conga stripped, isn't it? There on number 23.
Who's coming off? Vieira? What's going on?
So no, I just saw Vieira going through. And Saliba is there as well. So Saliba for Holding would make sense, wouldn't it? Because Holding's on a yellow card. And this is the thing with 5 subs now. I think we see half-time subs.
He's already got his tracksuit on.
Yeah, half-time subs you see more readily now with 5 subs.
Yeah, it gives the manager great options. He doesn't have to take any risks in terms of players that were carrying little knocks or obviously on bookings. And that's why I don't think people should worry too much about what games you have coming up when you can make 5 changes. It gives you great options. And that's where you can rest and rotate 1 or 2 players.
We're hearing Lokonga for Partey, which is interesting because he's critical to anything Arsenal too.
Yeah.
And Saliba, who has been terrific this season for Holding, who's been on a yellow and had a tough time up against Haaland. Who wouldn't? So, second half, I mean, it's really interesting to see the maturity of Arsenal against the increasing maturity against the wherewithal and the knowledge of City to win these sorts of games.
Yeah, you're always learning about your players, and they get a big test. As much as we're giving Arsenal credit for the first half, the big test now coming up in the second half. We see how strong City are, and of course, City have got brilliant options off the bench as well. So, again, big 45 minutes coming up.
Again, it's good to see Saliba coming up against Haaland, Sammy Conga coming up against this calibre of team in that midfield. Somebody who we need to kind of kick in at some stage, because we need somebody to help us out with Thomas Partey. So fingers crossed he can have a good game.
Those are the changes at half-time from the Arsenal point of view. Lee Dixon and Sam Matterface ready to go.
Confirmation on the bottom of your screen of those substitutions that Mark's been talking about. And it might all be high fives and hugs, WhatsApps and dinner dates between Guardiola and Arteta behind the scenes, but historically there has been a bit of needle between Manchester City and Arsenal. In the first round of Abu Dhabi, spending City swoop for key Arsenal talent. Clichy, Adebayor, Kolo Touré all ended up here. Not sure Wenger was a fan of the power shift either. And Manchester City have won the last 5 against them, but just not in the FA Cup, where the Gunners have won the last 4 in this grand old competition, and 3 of those have been semi-finals. They have been the ones to blink first and change some key personnel at half-time, and I suppose the Rob Holding one was predictable.
Yeah, it makes complete sense, and I think also in midfield as well with Partey, as the boys said, very important players. It's good that Saliba gets to play against Haaland before obviously the league game. Give him a little taste of what's to come.
There is William Saliba, who is making his FA Cup debut. He's been very good at nicking possession at the back. Started all 19 Premier League matches this season, formed a very good partnership with Gabriel. He was widely touted after a couple of loan spells in France when he was signed as a young player. He's only 21 years of age, but he looks an accomplished defender.
It'll be interesting to see how he goes head-to-head against Haaland, because obviously Rob Holding had a fight with him for 45 minutes. Whether he goes down that route or plays a little bit more dropped off and using his head a little bit.
Well, Paul Tierney looked over at his assistant over on the far side, Neil Davis, and was waiting for an indication, but in the end they decided between them that it would be a goal kick, not something that the Manchester City fans behind the goal were too receptive to. They are used to getting their own way at the Etihad Stadium. They have not been knocked out of the FA Cup here at this stadium since Championship side Middlesbrough came to the Etihad and beat Manuel Pellegrini's Man City 2-0 8 years ago. Patrick Bamford stole the headlines that day. They are pretty reliable here. They've won 20 of their last 22 games at the Etihad, going back to April of last year. And the only side to beat them in that period was Brentford in the game just before the World Cup. I don't know if you saw it, Lee, but they were off the pace that night as well, or that day, that morning.
Yeah. I think that's what Pep's been fighting against this season, is just the little dips here and there. I mean, still had a pretty good standard, but by their standards a little bit below, and he's just shaking the cage a little bit.
Ketia trying to win it ahead of Aymeric Laporte, who comes away with the ball. This is Riyad Mahrez. Gundogan being chased by Sambi Lokonga. Tomiyasu sticking to his Grealish task, but maybe sticking a little bit too close to it.
That's what you call tight. Look at that City performance in the first half. Didn't really see Mahrez, Grealish in flashes, not an awful lot. Gundogan not really in the game. De Bruyne flitted in and out.
Well, you'd expect them to come up with one moment. City haven't failed to score here since last March, when they drew 0-0 with Sporting in the second leg of a Champions League tie they'd already won the week before in Portugal. And they are the Premier League's top scorers. This is Rico Lewis. Akanji. Ortega looking for Haaland. Saliba heads it away. Tierney getting involved. Vieira. Tierney wanted it back, actually. He's decided to wander into midfield. Vieira. Tierney now the furthest player forward for Arsenal as Vieira gets chopped over on that far side by Mahrez. Well, we mentioned earlier how Arsenal start matches with intensity, but they get a jolt from that man at half-time too. No side in the Premier League this season has scored more goals in the 15 minutes of the second half after the break, the first 15 minutes after the break, than Arsenal.
Well, we've seen his team talks on TV, haven't we?
We've seen a couple of them, yeah.
I'm not sure
He ends up very hoarse.
Yeah, I'm not sure he's had the light bulbs out today.
It's been turned over well by Manchester City, and Arsenal are off balance here. Mahrez is in space, right side. They've gone to try and find Haaland. An avenue that was shut off by a combination of Tomiyasu and Saliba. A better ball was to Mahrez, right side, where there was more space.
Yeah, Tomiyasu. That's part of a full-back's job. Get narrow when you're being attacked. Go towards your goal. Just cover the centre-back on the outside of him. Did it brilliantly well.
Does it help him that he's been a centre-back for Japan and has played in that position? Gundogan. To Haaland and then back out to Grealish. De Bruyne. Oh, it's a teaser. And the keeper came very far out of his goal to punch that. Almost left himself a bit exposed. Had to make sure he got good distance on it.
Yeah, he came early. He'd already decided. He saw the flight of the ball and said, that's mine. I think that's good goalkeeping. Just not early enough. You've got to be careful with De Bruyne, because if you go too early, he's got the ability just to slip it in the goal from there.
Lewis on the underlap, trying to fire it through the 6-yard box, didn't catch it right, and it's into the side netting by the Mancunian.
I think he had a little bit more time than he thought. It's a good run again, inside right. I'm not quite sure if he just lets that go a little, one more bounce, he can get a little half volley on that into the box. There's certainly no fear in the boys there. Trying to think what I was like at 18. Full of fear, scared stiff, playing for Burnley.
Who was your manager?
Brian Miller. And then John Bond just after, an old manager of Man City, obviously.
Yes. Father of Kevin Bond, who played for Manchester City.
John Bond wasn't my biggest fan, I have to say.
Is that why you ended up at Stoke?
No, I went to Chester after that. We haven't got enough time to discuss my clubs.
There's a problem here for Matt Turner at the other end of the field. He's gone down inside the 18-yard box, and he's got a left shoulder problem.
That'll have come from that cross, you know, because he's that 45-degree angle and he's flying.
Oh, that doesn't look comfortable, that, does it?
That's the arm he punched with, and that's the arm he's landed on. Just have a little look at this. Look how early he goes. I'm off. His left arm just stretches along the ground. Glove on the floor and then a little stretch. He felt that.
Aaron Ramsdale, the England backup goalkeeper and Arsenal #1, is warming up on the touchline, getting ready. Mikel Arteta is having another little coaching session on the touchline. A lot was made of his antics and being criticised for theatrical performances on the sidelines in the last couple of weeks, but actually Pep Guardiola, who's very good at communicating from the touchline as well, rushed to his defence yesterday and said that a lot of that is just jealousy. When you're at the top of your game, people have to undermine you. To be fair, there's probably a few of us who are jealous of the fact that Arteta moves that well for a man in his 40 and nothing seems to ping. Still very fit. Well, Turner is back up and seems to be okay. Grealish looking to find Mahrez. A little reverse ball into De Bruyne, pushed away by Matt Turner. His arm looks okay on that occasion. Reacted brilliantly. And Haaland was lurking. Mahrez. Rodgers made an intelligent dart, but Mahrez is trying to chip that towards the far post. There's a little collision between keeper and Haaland. I don't think Matt Turner was initially happy with that. They ended up all friends and smiles.
Well, this is the first time, really, Mahrez had grass to run into, and he does well. The overlap from De Bruyne and the right hand of Turner this time. He can't go too early there, because, again, De Bruyne will just stick it in his near post. If he goes early, good goalkeeping and good run from Mahrez. City need him in the game a little bit more.
Riyad Mahrez and Kyle Walker about to exchange positions. Rico Lewis also coming off. And I think Julian Alvarez is coming on too. Alvarez, who is a World Cup winner, 9 goals this season. Kyle Walker, who's seen his place almost supplanted by Rico Lewis in recent times. And Laporte's got a bit of a problem here with Eddie Nketiah. Akanji being harassed by Trossard. Trossard has been bemoaning the decision going against him. Confirmation of those two substitutions. Riyad Mahrez off, Alvarez on.
replaced by number 19, Julian Alvarez. And a second substitution for City sees number 82, Rico Lewis. Being replaced by number 2,
Kyle Walker coming on for young Rico Lewis for the final 32 minutes of the game.
Yeah, there's a big chat with Walker and De Bruyne, just letting him know where he's going to go, because Alvarez has gone straight down the middle to play alongside Haaland. Now Walker's gone in a far right position, but he's just pushed in from full-back.
They'll do that little shift across where Ake plays as a half central defender, half left back, and Walker plays as a half right winger, half right back, depending on the way the game is going and who's got the ball where. But it's essentially 4-4-2 now for Manchester City. Here's Vieira on the volley. Well, it came down nicely for him. He had probably a little bit too much time to think about it.
Well, take a touch. If you've got too much time and it's on the volley, just take a touch. Can he just take a touch to the left and get it away from Ake? It's a hard technique to get that on target.
Alvarez has found De Bruyne. Switched out towards Grealish, but cut out by Tomiyasu. Saka. Wonder whether or not Alvarez coming onto the pitch will just quicken the pace of the game a little. They do like to move the ball quickly when he's on the pitch.
Just interesting to see if Arsenal can get Vieira in the game a little bit more. City, a two-man, Gundogan and Rodri in midfield. There's just a little space for him just to wander into.
I said it's almost 4-4-2 now for Manchester City, but it's probably more aggressive than that. It's probably a 4-2-4 at times. I want to get Vieira into the game. He was productive in his first Premier League start against Brentford. He settled in very quickly there. He did well, especially in the second half against Oxford. He was part of the Porto team that won the double in Portugal last year.
Well, he's got license to go everywhere, and Gundogan certainly doesn't want to come out on this side and pick him up.
Sambi Lokonga. Gabriel. Saliba being chased down by Alvarez. Finding Nketiah, but losing the ball quickly to Manchester City. They're very good at pressing you in those situations. Grealish, Gundogan finding a bit of space. Trossard getting back to help out his defence. No quarter given or asked. They need to break the deadlock, one of these two, otherwise it's going to a replay. Maybe Eddie Nketiah might be that man. A lot was made of Arsenal losing Gabriel Jesus, but Nketiah has done brilliantly to fill the boots of the Brazilian. Arsenal may well share the goals around. Odegaard, Saka, Martinelli are all a threat and have chipped in, but he is their top scorer. He's the all-time England under-21 record goal scorer as well. He recently got a specially made golden boot after beating Shearer and Jeffers records. Had a little spell under Marcelo Bielsa at Leeds, and he really improved during that period. It was significant for him. And he's been working with a fitness coach, Chris Van Arthas, who was a strength and conditioning coach at QPR back in the day. Sculpted his body, made him stronger, got his nutrition right. Anyone who saw the papers this morning will see the difference in his body frame. His next goal will take him into double figures for the second successive season for Arsenal.
Just popping up on this right-hand side now, Vieira, and he'll have a little wander and end up just in front of the back four as well. Starting to get a few little sniffs around the front of that Man City defence.
Tomiyasu. Saliba. Saka trying to get hold of the ball from Gundogan, but City managed to get it clear, and Gundogan has funneled it through to Julian Alvarez. This comes Gabriel, deals with the threat of the Argentine, and then takes no chances. He's been crackingly consistent, hasn't he, Gabriel? Started the last 54 Premier League games in the heart of that Arsenal defence.
Playing in any back four is all about partnerships, and those two have done a brilliant job. But you have to have a partnership with your fullback as well. Ben White on one side, Zinchenko and Tierney. Looks good.
Bit of space for Alvarez to turn and shoot and hit the post. Brilliant opportunity for Manchester City, the closest they've come. Grealish feeding Nathan Ake and finding the corner with a brilliant finish. Only his second goal of the season, but he finished it like a seasoned pro in front of goal. Manchester City take the lead, and Arsenal have got to come from behind.
Well, the possession had started to tell. Just look at the position. No one gets close enough, gets the shot away, hits the post, and then Ake passed the ball into the net, and boy does he do that. He just sees the gap as the ball gets played to him. Round Saliba and into that far corner. You don't need an awful lot of power when you can place it this good. He's just patient. Jack Grealish does well. Two players drawn towards him. There's the space. It's a brilliant finish, it really is. This is a perfect angle.
Big goals in big games. Against Liverpool in the League Cup and against Arsenal in the FA Cup. His 2 goals this season for Manchester City may be incredibly important. Arsenal making an immediate response, 3 changes straight away. Actually, it only looks like 2 changes, a double change, with Martinelli and Zinchenko coming on for Tierney and Trossard. So like-for-like switches. And they're still going to keep one up their sleeve, but the response from Mikel Arteta maybe underscores the importance that he's placing on the rest of this game and this competition.
Yeah, absolutely. He doesn't want to win this. He knew that from the start. His interviews, very positive. Forcing to making some changes, just the position they are in the leagues.
Arsenal had to come from behind against Manchester United on Sunday. They do have it in them. This is Xhaka. In towards Nketiah, who almost got enough on it to steer it past Ortega, but there was an incredible intervention from Ruben Diaz.
What a ball that is.
It's
Absolutely
Laporte,
brilliant.
actually, isn't it?
Laporte, that's where you should be. First centre-back has to cover that first bit of the goal, and just gets enough on it, and Nketiah thinks it's a tap-in.
Aymeric Laporte getting in front of Nketiah, who felt as if the net was just about to bulge. Saka. So 7 to aim at in that penalty area. It's easy for Stefan Ortega to grab out of the sky. The German, who last year was relegated from the Bundesliga with Arminia Bielefeld. Mikel Arteta has a conundrum to solve. Saka finding Tomiyasu. Saka again, coming in field and being pushed around by Grealish. Good ball out to Martinelli. Whips it in towards that danger area. Laporte is there again. Lokonga finding Tomiyasu, decent looking cross, and Nketiah trying to get it under control. And it nicked off his toes by Rodri. It's better from Arsenal. Zinchenko. Through the legs of Haaland.
It's great, Zinchenko on that far side. Every time he gets the ball, all the City fans are applauding their ex-hero, which is nice to see.
He's a very personable character, is Oleg Zinchenko, but he's also a winner. He was talking about the aims and ambitions for this Arsenal team. A little bit earlier than everyone else, he was suggesting when he walked into the dressing room they should be thinking about the title, not just aiming for the top four. And first of all, I think one or two of them raised an eyebrow at that, but they're not anymore. They find Xhaka here. And Nketiah wanted it played earlier. It's gone towards Saka, but couldn't sneak through because Grealish was well stationed. Lokonga. Xhaka has shifted that onto Martinelli, but the offside flag is up.
Yeah, not ideal, that. You're looking right along that line, cannot be offside. Just have a little look. Don't need to go early, the ball's going to get played to you. Just stay where you are. Get that with a bit more experience.
Trying to steam through, and the ball over the top, but there was already a flag and a foul given.
Yeah, that's what happens when you get super tight to him. He just pins you and rolls you.
Arsenal fans singing "We Are Top of the League" as the Manchester City fans taunt them with "We Are the Champions of England." Both these two going for that title this season. This is Gundogan. Now Ake. Everybody in red behind the ball. Looks like Mikel Arteta is going to make his final substitution now. The one he was threatening to make earlier is going to come on. It's Martin Ødegaard, their inspirational captain, who is stripped and ready for action. Haaland with a flick on, no one to capitalise in behind. This is Saliba. "18 minutes to find a response." City will hope that they can keep Arsenal at bay. Not something that's easy to do. This well could be the start of a trilogy. If it was to finish in a draw, it would be a quadruple. And there are some tantalising fixtures upcoming, which may well define the Premier League. And these two at the very top of it. Here's Saka. Getting to the byline. It's a decent-looking cross, and Nketiah almost got across Laporte. Saka got a whack as he attempted to get that cross in and stayed down. Meanwhile, City looking to attack. More big guns coming on. Odegaard for Arsenal, Bernardo Silva for Manchester City. No one leaving anything to chance. Laporte. Alvarez dropping deep. Saliba and Haaland in a battle, and Saliba complaining that his shirt was tugged as Matt Turner clears out on this near side. It's an epic battle. It's certainly worth watching, certainly worth staying up for. However old you are. Might have to pull that hat up a little bit though if you want to see the whole of the action. Odegaard is on, and Bukayo Saka has come off. And Granit Xhaka walks over and puts the armband on Odegaard's left bicep as De Bruyne wanders off the field to be replaced by Bernardo Silva.
He's been in the game a lot more in this second half, played his part, but this is really delicately poised, this game, with the introductions of the subs now. Both coaches counteracting each other's changes.
It's a game of chess, one at the moment that Manchester City are in charge of. 15 minutes away from progressing through to the 5th round of the FA Cup and being the first team this weekend to do so. There's a host more football to come over the whole of the weekend on ITV and STV. Xhaka trying to poke it clear. Bernardo Silva won it back. Great close control. Actually on his longest run without a goal in club football, Bernardo Silva. Hasn't scored since August.
Oh, surely out. The pass from Laporte looked about a yard out.
Fabio Vieira wasn't happy. The match winner, the possible match winner, the man who's got the only goal so far, and he's pretty insistent that it was a City ball. Vieira's found Grealish. And the stoppages and the stuttering nature of this last 5 minutes or so only helped one team, and it's not Arsenal.
Oh, City can go through their numerous tactics like we've all got of just letting the clock tick down. Some of us were past masters at that.
Walker with a flick on. Bernardo Silva did well to keep hold of it. And Xhaka has gone out towards that far side and committed a foul.
He's got no need there. Don't need to put your foot in. Where's he going? He's just running down the line, possibly going to run it out himself. Xhaka just give him a little let out there.
That does generate an opportunity for Manchester City to try and further their lead. A team who have been effective from crossing the ball in from wide areas this season. With Haaland in there, there's always a presence. He's aimed in towards Rodri, who got up tall. Alvarez back in again, punched away by the goalkeeper, who felt the full force of Akanji's challenge.
Tell you what, Turner does like to come out of his goal, doesn't he? Already on the way, he felt that cross was hit.
He's assertive, that's for sure. I think that goal that he conceded from Nathan Ake is the first time he's conceded for Arsenal from open play. The only other goal that he has let in so far in his 5 previous appearances came from the penalty spot. Zinchenko and Walker going up for the same header. Xhaka marshalling Bernardo Silva in behind and covering Zinchenko. Gives away the throw. Could be a tense final 11 minutes here at the Etihad Stadium. Rodri driving forward. Rodri again looking for Walker on the far side. Zinchenko gets up and heads the ball, but only into the path of Akanji. Still struggling to get out their own half at the moment. Maybe now there's a chance to break. Martinelli. Saliba. Martinelli's made a really intelligent run through the middle of the pitch and looking to try and get in between Walker and Akanji. Didn't quite come off for him this time, but the idea was right.
Yeah, good ball, but they just squeezed the space. Walker doing brilliantly well to head it back to his goalkeeper. They just need to try and get Odegaard on the ball. He's been brought on for that reason. He's playing in that Vieira space. He's not had an awful lot of possession since he came on.
Trying to harass Rodri as he's looking to bring the ball clear. And that's been a tactical battle. It's been an intriguing matchup between the two, but is it a game that's lived up to your expectations so far?
Well, I think we all want to see more goals, chances, maybe one here.
Here's Haaland trying to give you what you wish for. Grealish. Away from Sambi Lokonga and held on to it well. Bernardo Silva. When City are in this position, 1-up at home, they can slow the game down, hold on to the ball. They're great in possession and almost rest with it at their feet.
Yeah, we call it intriguing game rather than exciting.
Here's Alvarez, just trying to up the excitement levels.
It's not over yet, though.
That's never over until it's over. Manchester United thought they'd got a point against Arsenal on Sunday. Didn't close the game out, and there was a late goal for Arsenal that earned them all 3 points. They were probably the better team, especially in that second half. Can they come good late on here and rescue an equaliser, which might well take them back to the Emirates? Place in round 5 up the grabs. The Congo. Martinelli looking for Nketiah. Header away by Laporte, who's been effective since coming on to replace the injured John Stones. But whatever happens, Arsenal's improvement has been stark. No matter what happens here, you can see the development. That's why they are 15 points better off than at the same time last season. But Manchester City are a difficult team to knock over at home. Wily champions. They have a manager who is demanding and not just on the touchline. He drives his players every day, Pep Guardiola. He said after the recent Manchester derby he didn't care about the Carabao Cup, he didn't care about the Premier League. It's not true. He cares about winning. Yes, he wants the Champions League, but he has helped to create a winning culture here. 9 major trophies in 5 seasons. Domestic treble winners 4 years ago. Yes, money is one thing, but drive is another, and City have drive. Zinchenko. He's brought a bit of that to the Emirates Stadium, trying to send Martinelli down the left, and it's a corner which has been conceded by Kyle Walker.
Yeah, they're asking, all the City defenders asking for an offside there. Linesman's flag stayed down.
Well, it may well be a set piece that Arsenal have to utilise to get back into the game. Ødegaard lurking within 10 and free on the edge of the penalty area.
There's all sorts going on in that box. Paul Tierney trying to sort it out. Xhaka's got a fistful of shirts. Walker's getting involved.
Tomiyasu, Gabriel, Saliba in there as well, and Nketiah just trying to keep out of the maelstrom on the far edge of the 6-yard box. Queuing up on the edge of the box, the Arsenal players. Goes in towards that near post. It's a difficult one to deal with, but City did deal with it. Now Martinelli's got it back again. He's travelled a very long way, and it's gone out for another corner.
Yeah, he was just looking. He went all the way, virtually to the near post. He was just looking for somebody in that 6-yard box, and all he saw was blue shirts. Just watch how far he gets. All the red shirts are on the edge of the box.
And they've taken a quick short corner, which has eventually ended up with a throw-in over on the far side. Zinchenko, 5 minutes to go. Arsenal's turn to push and to probe and to try and find a way back into the game. It's a busy stage of the season, but I don't think Arsenal or Manchester City particularly would want a replay as a first choice, but Arsenal right now would certainly take one. Tottenham next for Manchester City away from home, then Aston Villa at home. And then they play that game with Arsenal down at the Emirates Stadium. It's Everton next Saturday lunchtime for Arsenal, who will come up against the new Everton regime. Vieira, Ødegaard, Saliba, Tomiyasu. If City can see it through, they are about to inflict just Arsenal's 4th defeat of the season. Nketiah trying to do something about that. Ødegaard, Xhaka trying to slip it through. Martinelli might get there, but Ortega was very quick and swift to come and smother. Great goalkeeping.
Wow. Someone shot him out of a cannon. He's just standing still in his 6-yard box, and then watch how quick this is. He's offside. The linesman give a little signal to Paul Tierney. Wouldn't have counted, but so quick off his line.
Xhaka, Zinchenko, Martinelli just holding his run on that far side. Vieira out on this near touchline. Nketiah waiting in the centre. Is there one magic moment left for Arsenal? Martinelli might help produce it. It's aimed towards Nketiah. A little bit of loose defending. And Ortega comes to smother once more.
Well, again, Martinelli's made a difference on that left-hand side since he's come on. It just ricochets off Gundogan, and again, he just fires himself at the ball.
Rodri. Grealish felt he was fouled by Tomiyasu, but City have continued the charge. Bernardo Silva. Emerick Laporte. Rodri. Being harassed by Sambi Lokonga. It's clipped away by Ortega up towards Haaland, who's battling now with Gabriel. Well, taking turns to get involved in that heavyweight clash. Xhaka trying to thread that through to Nketiah, blocked by Akanji. It was vital that he stood in that position on the field there, Manuel Akanji.
Yeah, sometimes you make a decision to go infield, into midfield and make a challenge, and Akanji got that one absolutely spot on.
Nketiah running down a blind alley, and now a chance for City to break again. Alvarez, Bernardo Silva. No need to force the issue for Manchester City. No need to hunt for a second goal. Keep Arsenal arm's length here, and they know that they will be heading into round 5 for an 8th consecutive season. They have been semi-finalists at least in each of the last 4 campaigns. Arsenal haven't been to round 5 since they last won it in 2020. And it looks like they're going to end their participation in the round 4 stage once more.
It's 5 minutes to go. Writing us off.
It's 4, actually.
Is it 4? OK.
Kanji into Gundogan. Square onto Alvarez. Manchester City so adept at keeping position in these circumstances, keeping possession of the football, making the opponents work, making the opponents toil. And that's a free kick, so it gives us a chance for you to nominate your player of the match.
Well, I think he's had a really good defensive performance. There's been a few tonight, but Nathan Ake not only kept one of the best young players in the country quiet in Saka, have also scored what looks like the winning goal.
Don't write them off just yet, there's still 3 minutes to go. Here's Walker down the right side, a yellow card for Zinchenko.
They've got to get the ball first, though. As you said, City are adapted at doing this.
Scorer of City's goal, number 6, Nathan Ake.
Booking for Zinchenko. Nathan Ake's Player of the Match award has been announced to the crowd here. And he got a rapturous round of applause after receiving that Emirates Player of the Match.
Well, I'll tell
what
you,
a cracking finish it was.
Absolutely, it's not easy marking Saka, and there he is, helping out his defenders, and he just passes it Bobby Charlton style into the net. Great finish, and a real solid performance at left back.
He's a regular for the Dutch at the World Cup. He's been a regular for Manchester City because of the injuries to Diaz and Laporte, who's played his part tonight. Stones obviously picking up another injury, caused them an issue. Cancelo's been a bit out of form, which is why Ake has got the nod at left back. Gundogan's just picked up a yellow card for wasting a bit of time. Martinelli trying to get out of that tight spot. Zinchenko trying to climb through. Silva coming into the penalty area. Haaland's just backing off a little bit. Alvarez twisting and turning. Lokonga trying to stick with him. It's going to be a corner if it goes out. Not according to the official on the far side. City were convinced. It's gone out the other side of the corner flag anyway.
Got there eventually. Obviously, City going in the next round, Pep will be really pleased, I think. Mikel Arteta will be pleased with the performance. He'll be pleased with some of the players who haven't played an awful lot of minutes. We've got them under the belt. We won't be pleased with going out. But...
Okay, trying to head it on. And there was a foul which the Arsenal players were a little bit furious about. And they thought they were going to get the chance to attack, but Paul Tierney has pulled them back. And you just wonder whether or not these two will be friends tonight. And maybe they can film their antics on the touchline and compare TikTok versions, because they are rather animated.
They've got the same coats on as well.
Same coat. I think they apparently have been training some of the air hostesses at the local airport. This is where the exits are. They're very good at gesticulating, telling you where things are and where you're supposed to be. Sammy Lokonga trying to rob Bernardo Silva of the ball, but he's kept it well. We've nearly moved into 5 minutes of added time, and we might have a few more seconds after that crunch from Zinchenko. He doesn't look happy, does he? Coming back to his old patch, where he was so successful. He started the 2019 FA Cup final for Manchester City when they blitzed Watford 6-0. Pep Guardiola is full of respect for Zinchenko. He was also part of the City team that beat Arsenal 5-0 here on their last visit. But he's going to be on the losing team, and so is Granit Xhaka, who was having a few words with Erling Haaland, but to no avail. Manchester City flex their muscle and send a message to Arsenal not to get too ahead of themselves just yet. This FA Cup meeting may have no bearing on what comes next, but it may just serve as a warning to Arsenal that there is plenty more in the City tank. Pep and his team go through to round 5. Arsenal can concentrate on Europe and the Premier League. Nathan Ake, the difference maker. He has steered them through to round 5. Manchester City have beaten Arsenal by 1-0.